I don't care. That works.
I like your boom. It's a nice.
You got a great boom.
You've got a great looking boom there.
That works.
Well.
And we got the Italian festival goodies. What did you bring?
Those are, I think, like lobster claws. They're called.
Oh my God, those are
It's a
heaven.
lobster claw. Holy shit!
Yeah,
That.
those
Patty, you
are
interested?
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a flake of it. They're massive.
Are you already?
Oh
fuck.
my God.
Oh, cannolis?
No,
That's not a shut. That's a dirty word.
We just talked about
Are you already recording
I'm always recording.
always recording.
I don't see why you're gonna get bourbon.
something.
I've never. I don't think I've ever seen you drink.
Really?
Dude, he drinks every week.
Does he?
Yeah.
Have you never
What are you
paid
doing? You're
attention?
choking yourself.
I'm choking myself, dude. The headphones.
I got you the new ones, didn't I?
Ours is
Are they
a
falling
mess.
apart again?
What?
God damn it! I found another pair at my house. I'm gonna bring them in for you.
Are you vaping over here?
Yeah, man. Why?
When did this become a thing?
I had like for $12. I was like, I'm gonna get a Juul.
What are you, 15?
Yeah. I wish just kids would smoke cigarettes again.
Well,
So
they can't.
this is what it is, man.
Where's
This is it.
Alex?
We're
This
gonna-
is basically it. Alex is in Greece. And Dan's not going to make it because he has to do finance.
just 4 dudes socially distanced podcasting.
Yeah. Is this
Yeah.
6 feet?
Not
cares?
even close.
I'm going to move
Yeah,
over
don't
this
even
way.
care.
Yeah, not even close.
Don't even
cares?
care.
You look like coronavirus. I'm just going to.
I am
No,
coronavirus.
I'm kidding.
You can get that right next to you. And if you want to pull it up, there's like a little gauge in front of you
Yeah.
that you can. Yeah. So if you're going to move, just kind of one of these.
Okay.
Just keep it with you.
All right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
Never.
Never.
No.
It's a bar talk.
It's
Yeah, you
not-
just hang
That's
out
all
and
it
chat.
is.
I mean, if like under normal life, I was
And
hanging
eat
out,
eclairs.
it would be. They look fantastic. That basically normal life is like your podcast.
Basically what it is.
it just has
That's all
a
it is.
microphone and these headsets. I can
I
hear
used
myself.
to, when I,
My hearing is amplified. I don't like my voice.
the most amazing part about being an alcoholic was that I really liked to talk to people. And I liked the bar atmosphere to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, and I was in therapy at the time. It's like all this crazy shit.
You were a hot mess.
So anyways, I was in therapy for 15 years. But what I realized is that it's more beneficial to talk to someone with the life experience in a bar setting because you have that liquid courage to not be judged.
Yeah.
And I found that more beneficial to me as a human being to help my life out. I'll never forget. I was in, remember when McGrath's was on Main Avenue? McGrath's Pub?
Was on me?
In Scranton.
I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
I
Before it
don't
went to
remember.
Dalton.
Before it went to Dalton.
I did not know
Really?
that actually.
Yeah, you know where, do you know where Vincenzo's is in Scranton on Main Avenue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was basically like catty corner across. There was State Rep Marty Flynn had a bar there called, what was that bar called?
Legends.
Before he bought it off the McGrath's.
He did.
Yes. So Legends was McGrath's first.
I just kind of thought they were up there forever.
No. So I'll never.
And I lived up that way.
Really?
Yeah. I can't
was-
picture it without.
I was underage. But I'll never forget sitting next to an 85-year-old man. And he wanted to do
Wait, is this like
150
1635?
what the year? And I learned so much in one night about the human experience talking to an 85-year-old man with regret over shots of 151, which in retrospect is terrible because 151 is terrible and should never be drank by anyone in the world.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, holy shit, man, I can learn a lot just by like sitting, listening, and asking questions. And that's how I viewed alcoholism. I'm like, oh, it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
I like the phrase you used, though. You said liquid courage.
Never heard liquid courage?
You've never heard that.
No.
So you have your Ghana.
How long have you been
things.
in Scranton?
Yeah, we have
Oh,
American.
That's what
things.
we know. Like that's like a
Really?
Yeah, or
I've
social
You are-
lubricant.
yeah.
Social lubricant?
Yes.
Oh, my
Have
God.
you never heard that before?
No.
I would
beer
never,
balls.
Beer balls? You never heard beer balls?
Beer balls.
No.
Beer
I
goggles?
guess I don't drink.
Beer
You don't drink
goggles?
well.
Nothing.
You don't drink. Scranton is a great place to learn how to drink.
Yeah.
Very good place.
Yeah.
and make poor decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
You
mean,
never heard
we
liquid
have
courage?
like the most bars in the country, right? Per capita.
I think it's per capita. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bars and churches. I think
Was
per
it church?
capita.
No,
I think it's both.
I think just bars.
I know.
No, bars and funeral homes.
That might be what it is.
Yeah.
I also.
Bars and
I
funeral
also.
homes.
I also.
We're doing pretty good on churches too, though.
Well,
churches, funeral homes, and bars.
Yeah.
And parking lots.
I believe,
And parking lots.
I also believe that per capita we have the most people in AA.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, but
Dude,
you
there's
have
a
the most.
fucking
You
there's
have
an
the
AA
most
meeting
bars.
on every corner.
I'm gonna
No,
say
but you
there's
have the
no
most bars.
coincidence there.
There's no correlation.
No, there's no. It's
There's
totally,
no correlation between the amount of bars.
It can't be. It
No,
can't. It's just,
you have you have all the bars, you have the funeral homes, and what you expect?
Well, everybody's gonna. Well, here's the great thing about Northeast PA. Everyone's gonna be sad and eventually die. So, two good businesses to get into.
I guess.
Nice segue.
Nice
Did
segue.
speaking of
Patrick.
bars, speaking of bars,
Patrick, you went to. Did you go to Abington?
no.
But you lived up there, didn't you?
Yeah, my oldest brother Billy went to Abington.
And where did you go?
I went to prep.
Oh, because you're a
Ooh,
douche.
he fancy.
Do you like
No,
how
I'm
I
kidding.
said that like a
No, I'm
douche
kidding.
too? Like I said it like
No.
we joke. We said we always tease my brother. We said they sent him to Abington and they saw how he turned out. So
They're like, no,
Said
we're
the
not
rest.
going to make that
Yeah.
mistake
no, but I'm
again.
kidding. No, it just I think time and place and means.
Well, how much older is he than you?
4 years or just about 4 years.
Oh, so he was like getting out of it when you were getting into high school. So he was probably in like 12th grade when you were
Yeah,
getting to
he just I was
when you were going to be a freshman.
right. Am I doing this wrong?
Hear how deep your voice
I
sounds
know,
now?
but
it sounds good
I
now.
have to work my NPR voice
Yes.
and not.
Yes. Or Democracy Now, whatever that channel
I
is.
feel like I'm breathing
Sexy and
heavy
deep.
because I'm hungover and I just don't want to.
Oh, so what happened last night? You had too much fun.
Yeah, I don't
It's not
do
normal
that.
for you to do that.
No. I mean, in spite of owning a bar, I'm pretty well controlled, and it's not often. I drink often. I don't drink a lot. You know what I mean? I'll have a couple drinks. I'm like couple nights a week, few nights a week. I'm gonna have a drink.
Yeah, but you're not going to get tuned up like we
But
used to do when we were
No, it's been
19.
fewer every year that goes by. Fewer farther between. I have 2 kids now, but I had a buddy in town last night, and I haven't seen him in a while. Wanted to drink. Hey, let's go out for dinner, have a drink. No problem. I went out, and then we decided to go to the next place, and that's where
Which is the
bad decisions were made. And I was hungover this morning.
Where is this next place?
Back at your house.
Oh, but that's your place.
Yeah, and that's why it's a bad decision.
He knows a guy.
I walk in and I know people, and I could just like grab the bottle and go, hey.
Yeah.
Mostly
let's
bar
do a
owners.
shot.
Mostly bar owners are if their wildest nights are at their own places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you found that over the years the hangovers get worse?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I got my coffee that's been sitting out for like.
Yeah, I tried to hair the dog, but
No, I've never been a hair of the dog guy.
I saw somebody.
There's nothing better than a beer.
Do you know what I've never done? I've never thrown up the day after.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I've thrown up like maybe once or twice. I
The
just
day
don't.
after.
No, like the night of.
Oh, we used to do something called
Yeah.
boot and rally.
Yeah.
We would puke and then keep drinking.
Yeah,
I could never
yeah.
do that. And
I just never puked.
I was a puker, but I really haven't until last night and this morning. I haven't thrown up from drinking in probably 4 years or 5 years, and before that it was another 5 or 6 years. So my body was not ready for what I did to it last night, and
So
I'm paying for it now. And
That's
so
awesome.
an uninteresting person is going to be exceedingly uninteresting today because I can't even function on a full level. So when I'm rambling or babbling,
No, it's great.
it's incoherent.
Perfect.
Just
It's
go.
perfect.
You know what? It must be the hangover. He's really not that dumb. I don't know.
What were you drinking?
Well, my drink of choice at dinner was Manhattans. So I had like maybe 2
I don't
Manhattans.
think I've ever had a Manhattan. What is that?
They're incredible. So basically, don't worry, bar owner, I've got this. No, Manhattan is pretty simple. It's bourbon rye is your base, and then you're going to want to use a little vermouth. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
And basically, it's that and cherry.
Yep.
It's pretty simple. You
Is
can
that
have
like-
it neat or up, or on the rocks, or you could have it as a martini. You can have it any way you want.
16th Ward has a fantastic. They use a
Shout out 16th Ward.
Shout out to my buds.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they have they use the big cube, which I don't know if
I love.
if it's legitimately
I
a great
love.
thing, but it's
Yep. It's because there's more surface area.
and it cools
It cools the liquid without melting the ice.
and watering it
Oh,
down.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So you get
I
the full
just-
flavor.
I just thought it made it look sexy. That's all.
I think it does
That
that too.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Big cube.
But they use a orange peel or zest of orange in it, and it's really just nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then shots.
And then when we got to the backyard, it was like some of my partners, Billy and Tony, were there, and I haven't seen you guys in a while. Let's
Yeah.
let's celebrate that and drink shots. And
Well, no, a big development for you.
just say no.
The reason
to
you
shots
haven't
and
seen them in
drugs.
a while, you have taken on a second venture.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
I doubled down during the pandemic.
Yeah, buddy.
It was kind of, I'm very fortunate, that everything aligned the way it did, because things were tight, to say the least, at the backyard, post pandemic and still today. So, I grappled with the decision and whether it was the right move, but the people that I've teamed up with are fantastic, and it just, the stars aligned, and it's really been a lot of work. I've not stopped working because I was working hard through the pandemic,
Right.
to keep the ball moving at the ale house. And then this came up. And so it's Epicurean Delight is the catering business. They've been around for 40 years. They were already contemplating retirement. And I think the pandemic pushed that decision further ahead. Like they were going to pack it in regardless of whether they had a buyer or not. But the truth is I joke that I have like the best catering business in, Northeast, and I can say it without sounding cocky or brash because I didn't build it. They did. They, and I'm excited at the opportunity. They really they run a tight ship, and I say they, but it's us now. And we have a lot of the team has stayed with us, and they're great people. They're passionate about the business, and that helps us. So
did you always want to be like an entrepreneur in business?
Yeah, I think that
Even from like your prep days, your preppy prep days?
I don't know what I that's my problem. I never knew what I wanted. Like I never had it's like certain people are
Like, I
just
want to be an
passionate about,
astronaut.
I want to be an
Yeah.
astronaut. I want to be a, musician. I want to have this goal of something that was very specific to me. I always use the jack of all trades sort of, because I like creating. I think that's a family trait from my mom, and all my siblings are just very creative people. They all, we all just like to build something and build it in our head and then put it to task. And so, and whatever we do, we usually dive all in. And that's kind of where I'm at. When I get my head that I'm going to do something, I have to immerse myself in it, maybe to the point of my own detriment and mental health, but
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
no,
That's
no.
how successful people, grow success. So you got to go all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, backyard wasn't your first endeavor though, was it?
No. We're going to do the whole story here of all the things.
Pat, I don't give a fuck what you do.
if it's interesting enough. But no,
We'll let other people decide that.
Yeah, my general story, like I said, I came out of college. I did a business management degree. My father had an accounting firm.
Where'd you go to college?
I stayed local, U of S.
Strasbourg.
Scranton.
Oh, Scranton. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Wow.
Well, you went to that. You went to there too, right?
Yeah, that's why I
you're
said
both
woof.
alums.
We're all alums.
Yeah. What's their? Do they have an animal?
Yeah,
Do they?
it's
I don't know.
what's it-
The
a
wolf.
The wolf.
The wolf.
Mhm.
Is it really a wolf?
It's a
Mhm.
wolf.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Unless it's
the wolf pack.
I don't like wolves recently.
Oh, what was that?
We
I
are
just
the
don't like
Royals.
wolves recently.
Especially in governor form.
Oh,
Just
With the two
just a
Fs.
managerial. Is it two Fs? He's not two Fs?
is he 2F or is he 1F?
No, it's one F and
Yeah.
E.
Is he?
Is he an E?
Yeah.
It's an E. There's WOLFE.
Look it
How
up.
do we not know this?
I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, he was going to have a stupid spelling
Where's
of his
Dan?
name.
God damn it, he's not here. I thought it was WLF.
Let's find out.
No.
I'm looking it up.
It's an E.
It is.
Yeah.
You are right, sir.
Well, I don't want to argue with Aja. He's never.
No, I'm always wrong.
You're always right.
No, I'm always wrong.
Most of the time, you're right.
I try to be.
That's what we all settled. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing we want to be, is always right. All right. So,
Yeah.
after you're at the Wolves,
After-
in the Wolf
after my-
Slayer,
Yeah.
did you like that experience up there at the U?
Yeah, I was. I think.
Don't worry, they don't sponsor.
That was
this.
convincing.
They don't sponsor this. Don't worry about it.
No, I actually, the school is fantastic, and there was great people there. I don't think I really did college right. I didn't.
Because you were still in your hometown.
Yeah,
Were you partying too much or not enough?
I don't know. I was I joke. I'm like high school stud, college dud. I just. I was like,
So you're not a used car salesman.
I was
don't get
very involved in high school. I was, I did some track and field. I played football. I was in, plays and productions. Different clubs.
Did you star in Pippin?
I was.
that. You acted.
I It's
Well,
high school. It's
obviously.
high school. I wasn't
What am I
like
eating? What is this?
acting. I mean,
You're eating a lobster
It's-
tail.
It's in my
It's amazing.
ears. It's in my ears.
I'm being obnoxious.
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
played Roosevelt in Annie,
What?
What?
the production of Annie. Yeah, it was
That's awesome.
Do you remember any of it?
I mean, you know the song.
Give us a line
Well-
or a song.
Well,
I don't want you to do a whole song, but
he
you know,
plays it
why?
out. He goes, "Solo for the president. When I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely, I just stick up my chin and grin and say."
You had to do that?
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
I was in a
good.
wheelchair and everything.
That's
So
that's
at
good. That's
the
good.
last
Wow.
the last show we had, I went out, but I was in a wheelchair, but I had a blanket over my lap because that's how he rolled,
Right.
And so,
Literally.
but I was doing. There was other parts because of the way the production works. You have to like be an extra over here, and then the new,
okay.
Yeah.
because it's a long
Act
play.
2,
and he's-
you're a tree.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
not in. He's not in it a whole lot as Roosevelt. So that was
Right.
I did other things, but so I was doing costume change, and I just ended up going in the wheelchair in my underwear and just throwing the blanket on. So I was out on stage. I was joking. Like, everybody was like,
What? They could. Yeah. What if something happened?
Well,
I wasn't that brash.
Well, Asha, that's the theater.
It's more funny. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Theater.
It will be open to Scranton.
So after college, after the Wolf Slayer, how did you get into, like, what was your first?
So
I'm just curious how you got to where you are today.
I was an entrepreneur. My family, we did some investment properties. We bought some real estate in the hill section and started converting apartments,
So that got you into like
construction
Yes.
and different. Yeah. I mean, I'd already
carpentry, masonry.
I already had like interest in carpentry, masonry. So like I picked up a lot of plumbing and electrical, and we did some rehab, like big rehabs on some properties. And so I learned a lot of that. And then I did that. We did that for 5 or 6 years, but I ended up hating it. It was just tough, like getting late night calls from tenants and this broke.
Right.
And, it's always like the middle of the winter and the heat goes down or something. And you're chasing people for money. And it was just, I don't know. I'm too nice of a guy. I'd be like, all right, I'll give you another, 2 weeks, and then like they would just take off. So I would just,
So how did you go from this is frustrating to I want to open up a bar?
well, then the next step was
Where everybody's an asshole.
I decided to take a position at a machine and rigging company called Ronco Machine, and they're up at Lake Winola. And I was a project manager there for 6 years.
Oh, dude, so that's like,
So, and then at one point, things were ramping.
is that into your 30s now?
No, I was 26 when I started, and I guess I finished when I was 31. By the time I was done with
Up
that,
there?
yeah. So I don't know, first 4 or 5 years out of college was the apartments, and then the next 6 years. I'm trying to think. 2006 to 2011, I was at Ronco. So, yeah.
And then how did the ale house come about?
Yeah. How does that?
So, my
And
father.
what was it before you guys had it? Wasn't
I know what it was.
Was it Silhouette?
Wasn't it?
It was where we used to
was-
go get condoms.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, it was a gay bar.
I, yeah,
It
I
was
was
a gay
gonna say,
bar,
I thought
yeah.
it was a gay bar because
Yeah, but
wasn't there like a bagel shop there too?
I went there once.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was a gay
It's all
bar.
good.
I didn't know that when I went to the Archibald pothole either. I didn't know that was a gay mecca. Did you know that?
I did.
Did not know that.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
The Archibald pothole is like a gay mecca.
Oh yeah, like go up there on your lunch break, tap a foot under a bathroom stall.
I did not know.
Yeah,
that.
I was working for like Leeward at the time or something. They sent me. I was like, "What's this pothole?" They're like, "Oh, you should go look."
Yeah,
and I
And
went
you're
up.
like, what's going
I went
on
up. I'm
here?
like, "Oh, this is really neat," but like, there's a lot of garbage at the bottom of it. There was like old like McDonald's wrappers and shit. And I went back, and they're like, "How was it?" And I was like, "I don't. It's okay." They're like, "That's like a gay mecca," and I'm like, "No, wait a second. There was a lot of men in cars up there. when I was up there."
You didn't even know this.
That's crazy.
So I mean, but were you looking for like an endeavor to do?
No. Well, no. So my father, this is how it happened. My father owned the property. My father, and my
So
uncle.
he owned the Silhouette, the property the Silhouette was in.
He owned the property. They were tenants of his. He owned. So that
Oh.
building was
Were they fabulous?
they were
Tenants?
fabulous. So they were
Good tenants.
no, but what happened was
And that's a bar that was like the Silhouette was a bar that's like before like I mean you got to understand like in the mid 90s like America was a much different place.
Oh, very different.
And
we might be in the progressive Northeast, but it's still Scranton.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that bar was like it was like a like Burning Man or something. You're like, oh, you went to the Silhouette. What was it like?
Mm.
You know, it was like one of those things.
Oh,
It's like,
really?
dude, it was just a bunch of dudes drinking and holding hands. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
But
Yeah.
and we got a bunch of, you know,
It's nice.
Fluorescent
it's nice
condoms.
that
Yeah.
Society's come a long way since the notion of that being so,
sure.
you know, so I'm sure it's still a long way to go for them, but you know, it's a different society for sure today. It's,
Yeah.
But then you'd be,
I don't know, from my,
you'd be surprised on who walked out of that door too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was, but it was, I don't know, man. Like I was in there like 3 or 4 times, and everyone was just very, very nice. Maybe because I was handsome.
Hang around some of the gay guys that I hang around, and they'll literally just, as people are walking around downtown Scranton, be like, been at a party with that guy, been at a party with that guy. His wife wasn't there, been at a party with that guy. And it's like, okay.
yeah.
So
There's a lot of closeted gay men in Scranton.
Were
PA.
they like,
lot.
hey, we're getting out of this?
No, what happened, unfortunately, the owner, proprietor passed away.
Oh, now I feel like a dick.
Well, no, I mean, you know, it happens and you didn't know, but you know, that was how he passed away, and his partner took over, but his partner ended up in jail because he was like selling coke or something.
I remember
crazy.
this.
Yeah. So
Yeah. There was a big like drug thing going. Oh yeah.
yeah. And anyway, Brent fell behind, and it was like, all right, you guys just, you know, he had to clear it out. My dad's like, we got to
Right.
do something with this. Now I've got this property. I'm not paying the bills. They don't, you know, their business wasn't operating. So he asked again, because my brother just came back. I can get in a long detail, but basically he was around town. He was trying to ramp up his own thing. He was doing some forestry work. He's a forester by trade.
Yeah, he does some pretty awesome.
Really?
You didn't know that?
No.
He's got like,
Oh yeah.
Billy?
yeah, like
yeah.
doctors. Some doctors don't go to school for as long as he did to learn about everything he did. He did like a ranger school for like 2 years, and then he did SUNY, New York, Syracuse for a year or two, doing some training. Then he did like a 4-year
So what do
program.
you do with that?
And
You just like take care
he-
of trees?
No,
No,
I
no.
think you were telling me like a couple months ago that he was like out like clearing something. He was out of town. He was doing
Yeah, what he does, he sees the value in the trees.
Right.
He knows how to mark the timber based on their size, and you know.
Oh, he was working for a company. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, my uncle works for a company. I think that's how he got initially interested in it. Just a nice outdoor life. He
Sounds awesome.
He looks at it. He comes up with logging road plans for them, and you know what, it deals with the watershed,
Yeah.
and you know,
That's great.
he's like, you know, does timber counts. He goes out with a book and a can of spray paint and marks this one blue, marks that one red, because it's going to get brush is going to get cut out, and then the road's going to go here. And I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot involved to it. He's not out there with a chainsaw. He knows
Travis Walton's
No, there's like-
UFOs
he
and
knows
shit.
trees and how to create sustainable foresting and whatnot. So
That's awesome.
They're like engineers, right? I mean, my host mom was the same. She worked for the U.S. Forest Services, and she lived in like Crater Lake and places like that. You know, like so, like yeah. I used to camp when I moved to Oregon. I used to camp over there. You know, the volcanoes and stuff like that. So then they turned that into like campgrounds, and yeah, it's like
That's
really
awesome.
interesting. Yeah, really interesting stuff.
yeah, I didn't
Like this is like she was the only person that I know did forestry stuff.
So you just so you just heard of your second person that did forestry.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah, it's
you know, he
crazy.
can cover a lot of acres. I mean, he may go out and the company that he was working for recently, they're like one of the largest landowners in upstate New York. Like one of the
Really?
largest private landowners. They own thousands of acres.
So you guys all have day jobs outside of the ale house.
Well, he does that
Or
on the
vocations.
side, or vocations,
Okay.
more or less.
Awesome.
I do now. I mean, where were we? What did I do?
It was property.
You were leaving the
No, the
company.
tenant.
I was at
Tennessee.
Bronco,
Yeah.
and but this is maybe like I said, I worked there till 2011, 2007. I want to say was all that with the attorney or the guy going to jail
Right.
and the
Drugs.
drugs and the guy passing and all that. And so again, because we were doing property development, my dad's like, I need to get this renovated. And so
I got these boys that know what they're doing.
right, Billy
Yeah.
mostly, but we knew how to go in and say, all right, this electrical's got to get torn out. We got to do this. And so we ended up like gutting the place. And I say I'm going to give 90% of the credit to Billy doing that job. He was taking care of it. I was helping on the side here and there. He was renovating it. The intention was so let me just say one thing that happened when they did evict. My dad said, "Listen, I'll just forgive your
debt.
That
Yeah.
Give me the liquor license." So we
Oh.
got the liquor license.
Smart businessman. Smart businessman.
Yeah. So he said, he traded that, and the value is probably better for him in that regard in the long term, right? So, so now you have a bar with a liquor license, and the initial goal was to just renovate it and then find another tenant of the same, or whoever. But
And what you'd keep the liquor license.
Yeah,
No matter who the tenant is.
We would have the business,
yeah.
and we would lease the space, and they would just operate, the business under that. So, there was a guy we had on the hook. We got probably 75% through the construction, and I mean, we kind of started going all out because it just needed to be totally redone. And the guy that was lined up backed out. And at the same time, now this property was three parts. It was on the left side was the bar, the silhouette. The right side was a bagel shop, and then the patio space was behind it all. Was where you came out from Tink's.
Yes.
So Tink's patio.
Yes, because they used to have that side door that you would go out, and there would be like a little. Yeah, I remember.
So if you
that.
figure you're going out the side of their building, when you were going out to the back property, which is now the patio of the ale house.
Okay. So,
and if you go inside of our back room now, because we actually shrunk the size of the patio for some of the build out that we did, the doorway is still framed out. Like we have it shelves where the door is that goes into Tink's, framed out, and it's like a liquor shelf now.
Oh, that's right. It is right. Yeah, it's because I went.
You've been in the back area, right?
Yep.
Where in the patio side?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that used to be.
But customers don't really see it because it's in the back of house now. It's inside.
So Tink's would have this is pre-levels hardware bar. Tink's would have pretty. I saw Limp Bizkit there.
Oh, they had big names.
Yeah, I saw Stained there. I saw Vanilla Ice, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Guar.
Guar, I was there.
Yeah, were you?
Yeah, I was at Guar.
Did you get rained on?
No, I stayed way in the back.
I was right next to it. I was right next to it. I was like, this is great. Because they do blood, urine, and semen.
Yep.
I was.
Aja. That's a thing.
Marky goes, it was great.
Yeah. It was. It was room temperature. I don't understand.
What?
Nothing. But they had at the time. I mean, Tink's was basically like the CBGBs of Scranton.
Yeah.
I mean, they had it all, and that was the Coopers. The Coopers owned that.
Really?
Yeah, Coopers owned that.
I didn't know that.
They used to own Tink's?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was great, man.
I thought it was the guy that owned Hiles.
He leased from them.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. That was Johnny Heil.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Little history lesson.
Yeah, you learn something new every day on this podcast.
So right next door you had was it still it was still Tink's at the time.
It was Tink's at the time. John Heil still had it.
Yeah.
While we were renovating, and he basically, when we were getting close to being done, his lease was up and he pulled out. So
he was going to take on both properties.
No. Like he was leasing.
It was an exhausting undertaking.
Yeah, and they put a lot into it. I know that. I know the family well, the Hiles. I grew up actually
I went to high school with some of them.
Three doors down from my house where I grew up. I grew up next to the Hiles, so I know them very well.
So I know exactly where you grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I went to school with Adrian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And John, her younger brother, John.
Yep.
Johnny's
a good
my
guy.
place.
Great guy.
Grew up with him.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Anyway, they were pulling out. John Heil was pulling out of Tink's. And so now we had a bar, at this point, 70, 80% renovated.
The guy pulls out, yeah.
The guy that went on a tenant, and Heil's pulls out next door. So the new guy came in, shortly after, and they started renovating. And my father had asked him, he said, do you want to renew your lease on the patio? Because now my dad's like, man, the bagel shop was actually in transition at that time too. So his building was almost completely empty.
Yeah.
But he had a tenant already lined up. So they were getting moved in while we were renovating the other side. And he had asked the new building owners if they wanted, because the Cooper sold it
right
after Heil pulled out. And the new owner said he wasn't interested at this time. He said, I'm taking on a lot with this building and I'm not interested in having the extra debt for the patio. Maybe we could circle back. So we didn't have a tenant for the place that we've spent, tons of money renovating and time. But now we have a bar, almost renovated, a liquor license,
A patio.
and a patio. And we said, hot damn.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
That's it. And that's how
The potential hat trick for success.
Right. Now, my brother and I, again, I was still working at Ronco at the time this was all happening. So
So at nights you guys would go in and renovate?
No, because Billy was doing he had his own forestry company that he was trying to get off the ground. So he had more time at his disposal. So I definitely give credit to Billy for doing most of that work. I did help out
Yeah, he's a talented workhorse,
along.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. Very smart individual. Like he's very well, he plays music. He's, it's funny what he could talk about with anybody. He'd be more interesting. You picked the wrong Nasser, by the way. He's
not yet.
very interesting.
Well, did you ask him about today?
I did, but he's also, I'm personable. I'll come in and sit in a room.
Is he a little bit more shy?
I don't want to say shy. He's just like, I don't know. He's a grouch. He's a grouch. I love my brother. He's a grouch.
Crazy old man.
I got work to do.
But did you guys sit down and go like, hey, this is going to be a new chapter. We thought it was going to be just a renovation and we were going to keep our jobs and do whatever we were going to do. Like, what was that conversation like to jump in both feet?
Absolutely. We, again, it all made sense. We're like, bar, liquor license, renovated. This place is beautiful. Like, let's just open a bar. I was young. I mean, I was 28 years old at that time. He was 32, 4 years older than me. So we were young-ish, 20, I think 28 is pretty young. But we said, yeah, hell yeah, I want to open a bar. I don't have kids. I don't have, let's do it.
So is that really where the idea of like the backyard ale house came from? Was this whole back patio area?
The name was the hardest thing to pick.
Yeah, tell us about that. How did you come to that with the Adirondack chair and the whole 9 yards?
Well, I'll tell you
there's
first.
nothing better than an Adirondack chair.
True.
Nothing.
I'm not gonna lie, because we were gonna take it over. We didn't want it to be a specifically, the notion of the place was that it was a gay bar.
Yeah.
And we did not want necessarily
Like a
for
niche.
us. Yeah, if we were going to take it over, we were going to make it ours. We didn't want to necessarily make it like we were doing it for us. So we wanted to create our own identity. And, we thought maybe though Scranton would have hung on to that notion that it was still a gay bar, and it would detract, the more of the masses to check us out. We were concerned about it. It was a silly thing to be concerned about. And we realized that like day one, it was like never like as soon as we opened the doors, we're open. I don't even think we announced. We just kind of turned the lights on and people just were in the bar that night. It was insane. It was a Thursday. So soft opening we did, and we didn't announce it to anybody. We just told a couple of our friends. We're just like, we're going to open it and just kind of feel things out. And it was like insane.
That's okay. So
I got sidebarred. It's a hangover. I'm sorry.
But it's not. But it's not so much as like you want it to be your own thing. I mean, even if it was an urban outfitter before that, you wouldn't want to have that be related to like, oh, this place moved into the urban outfitter, because most of the time when something new pops up, you think it's just a joke because the last thing failed.
That was kind of,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So that I think that was where our mindset was, and so we were going through lists of names, and we had a ton on the board. And we thought the name would create so much of our identity. I know that the backyard ale house or backyard was something that popped up, and we kind of drafted over it. And then we just started slowly eliminating them. I came down to two contenders. Our biggest contenders were backyard ale house and the Thirsty Beaver.
Oh, I don't know, man. Now I'm rethinking everything.
Wait a minute.
I'm telling you, this is where we were at.
Yeah.
The Thirsty Beaver?
That would have failed, don't you think?
Horribly.
Do you think so?
Horribly.
Because the V-spot's crushing it.
But here's the thing. Vinny doesn't work at the Thirsty Beaver.
Yeah.
It works because Vinny is the owner.
Do you
He's
have
Vinny is V, and he's at the point of his property is like a V. And
yeah.
did you have the art for the Thirsty Beaver?
No, it would have just been a happy beaver caricature. So if you
With
look
a
at
super wide mouth.
yeah, yeah, the teeth.
Drinking a mimosa. It's like a beaver.
If you look in the back bar, we had some custom signs made up. The one says Lake Winola is where the girls are at. Tony was visiting up in upstate New York and saw this, shop that could customize these old looking pictures with whatever you want on them. And so one of them says like the Thirsty Beavers handbook guide to, whatever. If you look on our back bar, it's been there the whole time.
So, I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually a beaver, right?
Yeah,
There is a beaver.
There's a beaver in the photo.
So what you do the soft open, And I'm happy that you chose the Backyard Ale House.
Yeah.
Did you? So when I used to live in Florida, they had the Orlando Ale House, and that was like a chain. They would have like different ale houses in different places. Did you know about that, or was that just it was totally autonomous?
Right. So the vision for the space was, and the partnership that was created was of people who had drawn experiences from various places they've been or bars that they loved. And so my brother and I had spent, when he was in doing forestry school out in Northern California, I spent a year out there with him, and I was taking some classes, but it was really just get out of Dodge and clear my head, year of, I don't know what you want to call it. I drove like a
kind of like Coming to America, the first one.
Yeah. Like I bought like a 1984 Honda Civic for like $500 and just like cruised along the coast, and, I had a cassette tape, and I had like Terrapin, Grateful Dead playing. And that's all I did. I was happiest I ever was, I think, in my life, to be honest with you. I just, not a care in the world.
You drove that to California?
No. I bought it when I was out there, but I would just drive it up and down the coast.
You're on the PCH, right?
What's that?
The PCH?
What's that?
Don't you have the Pacific Coast Highway out in California?
Oh, yeah. I get Coastal 1 or whatever.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. I had never heard it called the PCH.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, must be.
He's not a real Californian.
That's a Scrantonian trying to sound cool about.
Yeah.
Well, CPK, PCH, whatever.
Yeah.
So, when did the partners come in? Was that much later?
Right. Well, so I was going to say is we were, when I was out in California, I had drawn on like our experiences. Every like bar you would go to would also be like a microbrewery. So it was booming at that time. So that was 2001 that I was out there, and
they had like the stills.
The beer culture was like real heavy in Northern California, but we, like everybody always said, there's no brewery in Scranton. There's no, like that beer wasn't there, but we had experienced the beer scene out in Northern Cali, and like everything with Scranton, it takes 20 years for it to catch up to the times.
30 years.
Yeah.
Or 10.
Yeah.
So we hit the beer market. That was our goal. We picked partners who were beer minded people. They were people who, we all like that. Our friend and now partner, Eric Miller. Eric was brewing his own beer at home, and we're like, we know you love this, and we can do this. We can do this bar. And the idea initially was that we would maybe eventually even make it a brewery, go in that direction.
There's still time. Apparently, the Tinks Levels building is for sale now.
Yeah.
You could put a brewery in there.
Yeah.
No, that's so much money.
So much money. Now that the sidewalks collapsing.
And then you hope it's not going to collapse while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the intent, so because there was BlackRock was doing that a little bit. Remember BlackRock down in Wilkes-Barre?
Yep. There was Hackett's was in Scranton.
Yep.
And that was really just before I turned 21. So I didn't really get to experience Hackett's before they closed. But they had the right idea, I think. I don't know why it didn't click or didn't work or whatever. They were missing a key ingredient to their success, but the concept was good.
You never did it.
Never brewed.
Yeah.
We didn't end up doing
too much. I think it's too much
because,
pain in the ass.
Again, the way we got into the ale house in the first place was that it was a life gives you a lemon situation with, having this place that was available and the tenant walked out. And so the way it all worked out, that's how we got into it. So we, the four of us.
That was what, 2011?
Yeah, we formed. We opened in 2008.
Oh my God, that's right.
So it was 2007 that we were renovating.
Wow, that was so you guys have been around. You've been around for 13 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the worst, what was the worst part about it?
Of what?
Just that the first few years.
Nothing.
Really?
The first few years were fantastic at the ale house. Yeah. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, because and you guys didn't do food at that time either.
No, it was just
strictly a bar.
Yeah, that was like the one thing that I didn't really like. In a way, I was like, man,
you should criticize the owner in front of him right now.
Yeah.
So bring it. No.
But the thing that you did, that was great. I don't know whether it was like Fridays or something. You brought in food.
Yeah,
I used to love that.
Yeah,
like I thought, okay, so they can't sell food or they're not selling food, but on Friday they have free food.
We would have,
and that was cool.
It was free food.
What did you bring in?
It was hot.
Oh, and then some like. I think that was when you partnered with Nina's.
Yep.
Nina's Wings as well. Yeah, I used to go to Backyard a lot.
Nina's Wings are terrible the next day.
No, they're
I'm talking about like
day.
No, they're not. I'm talking about after you've masticated.
Yeah, still great.
Yeah.
I mean, a little burny.
You know all about it. Yeah, that was a fun, cool thing one fun thing that we did. And we had a lot of I think, neat creative ideas at the time that we were just, I don't ever want to be that place. And I was always fearful that we would be that place that would just kind of become stagnant and like known for this or known for that. I think we've changed it up over the years.
There's no growth or change or evolution or.
Yeah, but we've evolved. We've did some renovating. It's been hard over the last few years, and we have an interesting story that obviously you and I talked a little bit more.
I want to get into that a little bit if we can.
Yeah, well.
Not right now,
okay.
But
you have to smoker and So what happened to the craft shop?
Which one? To do the beer, because it was just another build out that we weren't ready for. So, like I said, the first few years, there was no hardship. It was like fun.
You never had like a, oh shit, we're not going to make it moment.
No.
Until you are so lucky.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't sound like, if that comes off cocky or whatever. It was just
no.
But
the way that you guys started is very different too.
Yes,
it was a kind of a low risk way to start,
right? And I have to say, like, there was a huge advantage the fact that my father owned the property,
right?
And he was our accountant, and he was a CPA, so I had a lot of like leeway in terms of like our books and in terms of how we, getting our accounting work done and then having him give us leeway on rent as we ramped up. And so as soon as we could start paying him, which was pretty quick, we did. So, but it was also like a good lease. You can't get into that real estate for as cheap as we did.
It's pretty good. Right. It's a pretty good.
He was concerned. I mean, my uncle was involved, so they were concerned about making sure that we got them. We just got their pockets. They didn't have to worry about anything. They were just happy to see us succeeding at something, and they didn't really need to make a ton of money off of us or anything like that. So,
but as like embryonic entrepreneurs, that's a good place to be at, to have those, let's say, grace for some of those things, so you could be a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think
lenient on what you do. Yeah.
I think that the smart landlords, the people who, want to see, you can make a buck today, or you can make, how does the term go? Or 100 over, whatever.
You're over. It's okay, man.
Yeah. It's totally. I'm rambling.
No, you're not. No. It's just you didn't know the term. Yeah, it's like if you make a buck today, or like 100 tomorrow, or next week, or something like that.
Just be like savvy to know that like the long term goal, the long term game is better than like making $1 today.
Well, honestly,
if you want to make a buck, you can make a buck. If you want to make 100, then sometimes you got to give up that first $1 or whatever.
By branding as the backyard ale house, I think you guys really set yourselves up for success.
Yeah.
One of the things that I see, especially in the bar world. It's a little bit for us in the salon world as well, but like especially in the bar restaurant world, people try and almost do like a theme. And if you're in New York, LA, Chicago, a theme is fine because there are so many people that there's enough to go around. But when you're in Scranton, PA, you have to be all things to all people.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at, Silhouette. Okay, it was themed. It was targeted towards one specific audience. You even see some of the other places that have popped up over the past year or two in Scranton. They're targeting a specific audience. You guys really set yourselves up for long-term success with the branding, with the feel of it all. You guys did a great job, man.
And everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
There was no one. I can't think of a time when anybody was like, man, I don't feel comfortable there.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with like hospitality business. Like if you become very niche, it gets to a point you're going to have issues.
Yeah.
Because you're only targeting specific people. So what if that demographic shift? Then do you have to pivot and start all over again, right? But if you make it where it's open, you might maybe the back of your mind still have kind of like a niche that you want to target, but it's like you're still open to everyone.
Okay. But that's like something like a rainforest cafe. It's like you're not going to go there every night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to go with the family like once a month, maybe. But like backyard, it was like no one had a problem with like, Friday, Saturday, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And you guys are all great. Everybody was great. There was never fights really. There was never, no one ever got.
Something I don't know how, I don't know if it's like the field of dreams sort of thing. If you build it, they will come. If you go within. And we thought like we had to like mold behaviors in a certain way, but it's just knowing how like you don't need giant bodybuilding guys to be at your door to like control a crowd. We've had like scrawny little college kids, just kind of like, sir, please come. And then everything like dissipates,
Well, you created a culture that was conducive to that.
Right. Like we really have not had, we've had fights because it's a bar and
Right.
stuff happens, but
And Billy's there.
But weirdly enough, the Backyard Ale House located next to like Tinks or
Yeah.
Levels.
Oh, yeah.
It was
night and day.
It was like the antidote to
Yep.
like Tink. I saw one night. It was actually a parade day. I saw a bouncer. Remember those stairs that went up as soon as you walked in Tinks? It was like 3 floors of stairs straight in a row.
Yeah.
It was like a
the metal one, the one.
straight up. It went right
Yeah.
up to the top
Yeah.
floor. I saw a bouncer fucking kick somebody down from the top. Boom, like a Spartan, like 300.
What?
Oh yeah. There was no. I mean, it happened all the time. It was just an aggressive atmosphere next
That-
door, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go to the ale house."
That is
It's getting real
crazy.
crazy.
but that's what people would do, and they would fight, in those places, and then come to our place to calm down from it. They'd be all just like, let's chill out. Like, we're in the ale house.
Yeah, that's like that's crazy. Like how the violence didn't spill over to Ill
Never.
House. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just,
Never like whatever bad vibes happened at next door never made their way over, even if those people did.
yeah. I mean, because like then you had not just Tinks, right? And then Tinks became something
It's like
else.
flashbacks
What-
was there,
what-
like a
yeah.
block away, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had, but more so like you had people fighting at Tinks. And what was the other one? The Coliseum,
I used to go there. That was bad.
right? So you
Where
had
was that? That was in the where the
Next to
Hilton.
the
Hilton.
Hilton,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Hilton. So you had the Coliseum as well, and you get fights and Tinks fights, but then Backyard was like okay.
It was like neutral territory. It was like Sweden.
I could
Yeah.
not seriously like I've thought about it. I'm like, wait, what is about Backyard that you don't get those bar fights? Or I mean, it's a chill place. You go, you relax. You could go with like, you could go on a date, a Backyard. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
absolutely.
and all of those things. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I used to think about it. I'm like, so what are you guys? I didn't know it was you then, but like, I used to ask that, what were they doing right that those other two couldn't do?
Control that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever grasped that fully myself. Other than that, I think how you are as an owner, or how you treat your people, how we
Mhm.
treat the people who work for us, the culture you create within the walls translates to the customers. And I think we are mellow, laid back guys. Like we created a place that we wanted to hang out at. That's what we created.
It's a real.
And
It's a
and
really.
it worked. I don't know how you like define it.
Yeah.
Whether we, maybe you turn down the music or you hit the skip button on a song that's creating, sort of a bad vibe, or,
Yeah.
Well, you've
But-
never had like a hardcore metal night. You've never had like a.
Hey, no, you've had metal bands.
we've
play
done
there.
that, though.
Yeah.
but
we've had-
but it's never been like the place where angry people go. It's never been the place where it's like you're going there to
Or-
have fun,
or
have a drink, and
if
maybe
angry people go there, they're just not
it's like
angry there.
It's like it just changes
Yeah.
everything.
We're going
Yeah.
to take care of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the, one of the keys to, I had like, again, foggy hangover brain, but it was like the 5 keys of the service, which has to do with how you treat people and how you present your space. I mean, keeping your place clean and in terms of cleanliness, I always thought of the subconscious dust, like nobody's going to notice that dust in the corner. But if it builds up and there's dust here and then you kind of feel it, it kind of feels dirty. And then it kind of lends that sentiment for
When the
people to care
owners
less
don't
about
respect
it.
the space,
When
then
you're
why
not
would the
respecting-
patrons? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
if you go in the bathroom and like I've always taken pride in like painting over or covering up graffiti like the next day. Like I was like, I hope that guy that did this and just did this destruction, I'm in there spackling and, painting it. And then I'm like, I can't wait for that guy to come back and
Yeah.
see that I fixed his, what he did to my bathroom. Like,
But maybe that's the thing. It's like other bar owners would be like, I can't wait till that guy comes back to like punch him in
So
the
I could
face.
punch him in the
No.
face, but you're like, hey, I
Right.
can't
no,
wait
he could
till-
just come back tomorrow and destroy it. And then I'll come back and I'll like, how you want? You want to keep going, bud?
He's like, hey,
You want to keep
we don't
scribbling
do-
on my stalls? No,
He's like, we don't
I wanna
do
keep
that
cleaning
here.
it.
What was the worst
We
thing
don't
you've
do
ever
that.
seen, or what was the funniest thing you've ever seen scribbled on your stalls?
I don't know. I can't think.
There's
of
not
anything
one
else.
where it's like,
I'm sure
Man,
there
this
was
is
some
funny as
stuff,
shit.
but I'm not. My brain isn't.
For a good time called Billy.
what year was the wall collapse debacle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 2013. It was basically just a few months after we had finished like a 2-year renovation of the bar.
And
where
what
we
was
converted-
that? Like, what actually happened
with the wall or with the
Yeah, yeah,
renovation?
with the wall?
So
Well, the renovation was what, on the patio?
no, 90% of that renovation. I mean, we were doing construction for a long time. Because
Yeah.
even when we opened, we opened right before Thanksgiving in 2008. And our first bar, we put a tent up on the patio, and there was like a wood ramp across like the pit where we were still pouring concrete. And
I remember that.
And
Wow.
our first bar that was back there, we had the roof line and we had the columns that are in the bar right now, but there was no bar built. So we used a scaffolding pick on sawhorses and then covered it with like a vinyl banner.
Okay.
And that was our bar for like that first week. Because we're like, hey, it's a big bar night. We're so close with the patio. Let's just get it open.
Yeah.
So we put Porto Johns out there and you know,
I remember
we
all
boogered it
that.
together, and it was packed with people. And like, so we saw how it was out there. And we're like, with the tent. And that's when we're like, we've got to tent this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wish we had thought about it before, like having cover, but we realized like, you know, cold winter night or winterish night in late fall,
Mm-hmm.
that we could have people in on our patio and just have an entirely new space. So we knew that the space would be a cool patio space. We had put a lot of thought into it. We didn't think about the tenting. So that's why, you know, pretty much right around that time, pretty early in, we had ordered the tent. So it was ready by next season. So, you know, we got to get through that winter with that tent. We just kept it up and, you know, had some propane heaters that we just had to keep
Filling.
filling the propane. And, you
Yeah.
know, we're renovating as we went, you know, maybe we close it for a week or something. But at that time, I think we were only open like 4 days a week, or I think Thursday through Sunday.
And then you had just finished. You had just gotten to where you wanted it to be, and that's when the wall collapsed.
So I'm sorry, I got away from that. That was the second iteration of renovation. We had finished the patio space, and then we had actually even bumped it out more because there was like a fence, like a wood fence, if you'll remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And then I think
because it was like a
tiki bar
southern.
feel.
Yeah, it was like a Florida Key West
Yeah.
type vibe out there when Tinks had it.
Right. So we tore down that fence and took it all the way to the party wall, the neighboring wall for the building next door. We just, because that space was, I don't get too far down the rabbit hole, but
Right.
you know, there was still the bagel shop. So when the bagel shop closed, that's when we were able to take over the space, because behind that fence was like an alley for them to bring their product in and their back load in
okay.
area and stuff like that, emergency exit for them. So we were able to consume that space. And then we did like a 2010 renovation where we, you know, added that big brick wall on the backside and, you know, put the siding up and stuff like that.
I think it looks great out there now.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So I remember you telling me that wall, and I don't think anybody really fully understands like what happened. So like, did it happen while you were open?
Yeah. So 2013, we finished the whole nother renovation where we finally took over the bagel shop, added square footage to the inside bar room. We put the kitchen in, we put a second floor office storage space in, and put a whole new facade on the front of the building. So, I mean, and we did it all ourselves. I mean, we hired subcontractors to help us, but like it was, you
And
know,
most of it was you guys with your own.
yeah, me, my
spit
brother,
and grease,
and our buddy who's a talented contractor. Me and my brother were just, you know, swinging hammers, but he knew build plans and he knew how to read architectural drawings. And so he built like $1 million homes for like 10 years, you know, so he really knew fine construction practices, and we just took his lead. So we built it. We literally built all that and we got done with it. We invested a lot. We had to do 2 remortgages during it to finish the project. Yeah.
Wow.
And so few months in, maybe 4 or 5 months in, and we're getting prepped for our Fall Fest. This would have been our 5th annual Fall Fest, a fun little, you know, event we would throw
you guys
every.
crush it with that.
We did. We haven't done it in a couple of years
Yeah,
now.
I know.
The wall section, it was like the whole Tinks wall obviously goes up 3 stories above our, you know, 1-story building. It's like a 4-story building, and a huge section of it had broken away, the stucco, and fell on the roof line, which would be, I guess, hard to describe for people, but it's, you know, it's between the second floor. It would have been
I
like,
mean, it's literally like you're right next door to like the side of a 4-story building with
Right.
stucco on it.
right. And about the contractors who helped us with the cleanup estimated it, probably based on the number of trucks they hauled out with it, was probably well over 2,500 pounds of concrete that just broke away at once and just crashed.
What
on the
time
roof.
of day or night did that happen?
This was a morning, off hours. It was
Okay,
about 10 in the
okay.
morning, I think it was.
Jesus
I had
Christ.
Could
showed
you
up.
imagine at 10 at night?
My partner
Oh.
was downstairs below it on his desk, and like, sorry,
That's okay. Don't be.
my partner was below it at his desk, and like even a shard, it didn't actually come to the ground, but a huge, maybe, I don't know, 2-foot by 2-foot chunk of the stucco had like penetrated through between the ceiling joists. So the roof was well engineered because it supported that crash, but
Yeah.
it was a mess up there. We had just had it re-roofed from all the renovation we did. And this piece just sticking through the ceiling joist. Like if somebody was there and it made its way, it would have been scary stuff.
So
fortunately, no one was hurt. We were not open at the time.
how long did that shut you down for though? Because structurally, they don't know what else is going to happen with the building next to you. You have to fix your building currently.
Right. This gets into more of like a
What?
sensitive subject in terms of how things were handled, and we're still in a lawsuit and everything over that.
Now?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
This many years later.
Who are we beating up?
No, I don't know if we should say that because it might. I don't want to end. He's got so much time into the lawsuit. I don't want him to.
lawsuit. I'm not suing anybody.
I don't want to get too far into those
But I mean,
details.
but it did shut you down.
It shut us down for a week. We were closed for just 1 week, and it was the week of our 5th annual Fall Fest, which those are typically our.
That you were already promoting.
We all bands are booked. Staff is booked. All the extras that we do, like porta johns and ice trailers and all the other stuff that we use to build out. I mean, it's a production.
Yeah.
We're all booked. Yeah. So money's been spent on all the marketing, advertising, all that stuff. So it's a big weekend for us to lose. And we strategically did Fall Fest. To be honest with you, it was something that we wanted to do going into our slow season. We wanted to like one last pop of, of cash flow. And it was a fun party to have. It was a fun way to do it. There was nothing going on. I would say nothing. There was the Steamtown Marathon. It would just, it was usually coming a few weeks after La Festa. But, from that standpoint, we thought it was a fun event to host.
Good marketing strategy.
Yeah.
It's a great marketing strategy.
Well, I mean, if a lot of bars survive on the parade day around here. For people who don't know, it's like it's a lot of bars make a lot of their money on parade day, and if you could find other ways to make even parade day light, it's a smart move.
That was generally the idea. So you can charge some admission, but you're having bands, and we do lots of giveaways, work with breweries, so it was a lot of fun. But we didn't have it that year because so now not only did we just sink a fortune money, we're on fumes because we did the refis to finish, stocking the shelves with the food and all the equipment. And now we had weeks of training going into opening. So we had ramped up because you had training, we had hired new staff. So we had payroll for, I don't know, a month at least that we didn't even have the kitchen rolling. So you needed to start
generating revenue. Right.
And we needed that Fall Fest like nobody's business, going into that season. And it was canceled. So, and then we lose a whole nother week, but we still had to cover payroll. And at that point, again, we were on fumes and we just got behind. We got way behind. So that first 4 years, it caught up with us. It was great.
It's like finally he's like, hey, gotcha.
Yeah.
So then
that renovation. So you got to, can't stop and question whether or not we should have done what we did with the renovation or, whether it was the right move, but it's made it.
Nobody planned for that. That's like almost like an act of God.
Yeah.
Even though I think it falls back to negligence at some point.
No doubt.
Yeah. That's
in the legal term. Yes.
That's why I wanted to say that. Yeah. And then, when, and I don't want to make this like morose, or depressing at all, but you've probably gotten thousands of dollars from me at your bar prior to me quitting drinking.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How's the college for the kids? But I remember when the pandemic hit, and I remember thinking of like, I need to do something. I need to talk to somebody. I need to kind of tell a story because no one's telling the story of these businesses that are shut down who are just, handcuffed through no fault of their own. And I remember I did a video with you, and, some of the things that happened initially, there was no guidance for you guys when this all happened, right? There was no, because for the people who didn't see the video, I kind of want to just know, like, how much confusion was at the beginning, for shutting down, especially in your industry?
I'm generally speaking, I'm a pretty optimistic person in that I think that, you you can't control every situation, or no, you just got to roll with it. And there was a lot of confusion, but I think that, and the reason I prefaced that was that I think, everybody was in the same boat at that point, not just,
Not just
locally,
backyard,
backyard or whatever. It was just, everybody had to deal with that. So it was not handled well, in my opinion, but I also have to, I'm a person of understanding that they were figuring it out as they had to go. It's not like they had like the playbook for that type of thing.
Right.
So decisions were made and certain things, were done that, and we're talking about in regards to closures and whatnot.
Yeah. And restrictions.
Yeah. I think you had to do all that to figure things out and to see how this thing was going to play out.
I mean, prior to March of 2020, were you guys, was it like the first 4 years feeling, or was it, where was it?
No, I mean, that was, so speaking of the wall collapse and all that had gone on, is we were in a tailspin for a lot of years. We had to climb out of some crazy debt. It's, it's the credit card debt type stuff, where, the penalties and the late taxes, and then you get interest and penalties on interest. And, it's just, and it's like hard to dig it out. And then you have to have your business booming. We're figuring out the kitchen. It didn't quite click from a food standpoint. I don't think we hit that niche that, like, everything had come to us so well in the beginning when we first opened the bar. Like, everything we had done was so spot on. And I think by the end of the construction and just our approach to actually getting the kitchen open, we didn't really have the right vision for what we wanted to do. I don't think we ever put our finger on it and just like knew all together, like, this is what we want to do. And so we had a lot of figuring out to do with the food and how we approached it. And so that part of the business was doing okay, but it wasn't what we had hoped.
Right. It wasn't like this huge boom.
Right.
Of revenue, another revenue stream of like, oh, why didn't we think of this 5 years earlier?
Right. And we didn't know. We truly, I mean, like, not unlike the bar business, but the food is a whole nother animal. Do you think
that you got spoiled at the beginning because it went so well?
Definitely. Definitely. I'll take it. Like we had a lot of fun years and we were just kicking ass, and every year was a better year than the next. And we had fun ideas and the money was flowing. We had enough to personally finance a lot of that renovation from those good years.
Wow.
So we were killing it, but now we were not for years, because now we're, like I said, we were on fumes from the renovation, and we're like, all right, well, if things went smooth, that wall didn't collapse, I can't guarantee what would have happened, but it would have gone a lot smoother. It was exhausting to come to the end of a 2-year renovation and get things ramped up and then have something like that to deal with. Like, you're like, we're closed again. And,
when you opened up the kitchen, did you see your like alcohol sales go up, or did it almost go down and get replicated with food sales?
It definitely,
or did they complement each
no, I
other?
mean, everything went up because, our gross take went up because we were open more hours and having food, as you had mentioned, it was more of a draw for more people.
I actually just liked the free food.
No, I thought, no, I mean, being
like, man, you go down there, they got wings and shit. You don't
being in marketing, I mean, that was a great touch point.
Yeah.
You had something, you had a draw, you had like a lead magnet. So people went there. I mean, I knew if I went there Fridays, right, I could get free food and I could buy my drinks. You know what I'm saying? So it was something that always led me to go to backyard. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was going to ask that question. So do you think, like, I mean, looking back with everything that happened, the extra debt that you guys took on, the expansion and everything, looking back, would you still add the kitchen, or you would have maintained the backyard that you started with?
It's a great question. I think in general in life too, my own personal mantra is, no regrets, and that things happen for a reason and you figure your way out. And as long as and I think that's anybody who you own your own business and you get that entrepreneurial spirit, you're either going to be motivated or not. Do I want to sit in a cubicle, or I'm happy just creating and doing new things? And so it was a learning lesson. And it was the long story of it is, if you take the positive on it, is that I learned a lot of ways not to do things. I learned a lot of, what we could have improved. I've learned from that. Do I regret doing it? I mean, it took a lot of the joy out of what we were doing for a lot of years. It became a lot harder. It wasn't as fun.
Yeah.
when you're
It
buried in
became
that.
work.
Yeah. But even at that point now I'm, have a house and starting to have kids and, like right around that same time, my son was born in 2013. So I had my son that year.
So one of your biggest joys and one of your biggest defeats at like the same time.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank
life
God
does
for my
have a
son,
sense of humor.
That is not a defeat.
No, but you know what I
the
mean.
wall fall.
The wall falls.
I mean, it's not a defeat.
Well, we
I mean,
couldn't.
it was a little setback, but
No, we were on the I will be honest, we were on the precipice many times.
Oh, really?
So we're fortunate that we had the people and the connections and people who rallied behind us in certain ways and helped us out, and we made good on everything. And so the irony of what we're talking about when we got to that point where the pandemic hit is that we had my brother and I were sitting in the back office area talking about, finances and this and that. And he's like, listen, these are all looking really good. We just got that paid off. He goes, dude, we had and I credit my brother again because he had like a real great plan. Because when we were sinking and we're like, we just didn't know how to get out of it. Like, how do you get out of that debt? Because you don't have enough money to pay this. He's like, here's how we're going to reorganize it. And then he took money that we didn't have necessarily, but just squirreled it away. What was like $150 a week or $200 a week. So that when it came time for this tax or that bill, we had like a lump sum and we just chipped away at it. And so we were talking in the back office area. It was February of 2020. And he's like, dude, I think, he had a build out plan to get everything paid off, like the way he was structuring the finances and like.
Did you learn that from your dad?
Because he did. He's smarter than that.
There's an accounting term for that where they ask, I forget the name of the term, but they ask you to stash money away.
Yeah.
Because it helps you pay for future stuff. Because you never know what's going to happen.
Definitely the reason.
The rainy day fund?
No, but there's like an accounting term. I forget.
That's why I didn't become an accountant because I'm. But he had done that, and he had, we had structured it to the point where he's like hoping the goal was 2018 to be out of debt. But for February 2020, sitting in the back office, he said 2020 is our year. He goes, this is our year. He's like, it's awesome. He's like, we're just coming up. It was obviously in February. We're talking about Parade Day.
Parade is the next
He's
month.
like, when Parade Day hits, we'll be able to take care of that bill. We'll be able to take this. And then, we just chip away at this through the summer and we'll have a good summer months. And by the end of 2020, we'll knock this out based on the way everything was going.
And then it's all gravy.
It's all gravy, baby. We'll be back on that first 4-year train, right?
And then
cue the music. Yeah. Pandemic. A month later.
Without relitigating, I think everybody knows what the fuck that was like. Knowing what you know now, looking back on the last 18 months, somebody once told me it's like no matter what situation, whether it's a win or a loss, you look at what are your 3 successes and your 3 failures during that time. What were like the 3 things that maybe you learned that you did right, and what were the 3 things where you're like, this was dumb, or this was a failure, or was those 3 things that were the negative impacts, were those things just totally out of your control?
In terms of how things happened, or how
in terms of like how
we reacted to it,
how you reacted like to now. Like if you look back and if it was the documentary of the last year and a half on Backyard Ale House, it's like here's where they got it right, and here's the 3 things that they had 0, or maybe we did it wrong.
No, I mean listen, we definitely I don't know that I can pinpoint it to specific things, but we got it right. Whatever
You're still
it was,
there
because we're still here.
Yeah.
We definitely got it right. And so the goal is that we always say is you live to play another day. I think Mike and you and I talked about that at some point along the way, that you just, whatever we have to do to get through the next day is what we'll do today. Like what do we need to do to position ourselves to just go like another day or another week, for lack of a better, so that was the goal. Is just, I took a lot of time early on to do, kitchen cleaning and upgrades in the kitchen. There was areas that, I needed to put new walling up and, just just some general cleanup and renovations and little things that you can't really do when you're fully full throttle open.
Yeah, because then you
mode.
got to shut it down for a day.
Yeah,
or something
shut
like
it down.
That.
So I'm like, well, we're shut down now. So I'm going to get all those punch list item things that we wanted to get done, put the shelves here and reorganize that room. And, so we did a lot of housekeeping. I stayed real busy doing a lot of that stuff. Billy, again, being the smarter money man, he was chasing down all of those grant money and everything like that. He was chasing down. So, Tony was just trying to manage staff in the kitchen. So good things happened though. We had the one thing I love is, and I was just talking to him last night, but, Chef James Bodner came in, and I think, and we had some nice guys. They were very talented, and they had definitely, they knew how to run a kitchen. But I think James's vision, his menu ideas, and what he brought was way more in line with what we really needed at the bar.
Is it the guy that you stole from Il Mary? Il Mary.
Like how he said stole.
Stole,
kidnapped him.
Where that's definitely. I mean, it's funny you mention that way, because I'm adamantly saying that we don't steal, we don't recruit, we don't hate. Because when he first called me, so we put out. Here's how it happened with him. We put out, an application.
I didn't really mean it.
No. Of course.
I was like, I apologize. I didn't mean it like that.
Sorry, no, you don't have to apologize. We put out a thing for a line cook, and at the time with the pandemic, we weren't looking at taking on a chef, because a head chef is, costs more but brings more creativity. But we were looking at menu items. I think like a lot of people, like you had to scale your operation to what business you can do. Like what can we do for takeout that's going to translate well, that's going to still feel like backyard ale house, but that we can afford to do, and
right.
that it better margins and stuff like that. It really, I think all restaurants did that. It was very strategic in terms of how you build out your menu and the things that you do and the hours that you open.
Yeah.
And it was a moving target. And I could see society on the whole was like frustrated by their restaurants, being like, oh, the hours said they were open, but like we're like, we got to scrape the hours off our door because we're going to be closed. They were evolving every week.
Yeah. Right.
And not just from us, like figuring out what hours worked, so ultimately the hours we were open
Were the ones that worked.
I'm sorry if you wanted to have us that night and we weren't conveniently there for you, but if you were the two customers we were going to get that night, it was just not going to be enough for us. So,
right.
We figured all that out, but, so we put an application out for a line cook, and we were just really doing simply prepared foods that didn't really need
Like an apple or a banana.
Yeah,
That's
just
weird.
real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Microwave it. No.
Yeah.
We've always maintained a standard of quality, but it was never, it didn't have to have that creative edge to it. It was really just what can be productive and nice.
Yeah.
But James applied on that.
For a line cook.
For a line cook, he applied. And I said, I called him up. I said, James, clearly you're not a line cook. You've proven yourself with what you've done at El Mary's that you're very talented. I said, so what's the deal? I said, are you ready to move on? Or I don't want to be the guy that, that steals you.
That Aja thought that was stolen.
Yeah. But we needed somebody.
Hey,
And
a couple of guys from Il Mary's followed him too.
They did. They did. They were loyal to him and they came. So
yeah.
I mean, that's how it works a lot of the times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I hope there's no bad blood there. There's no intention for us to do that. He wanted to move on. If he was going to move on, he was going to move on. And we're happy to be the guy he moves to.
Right.
We're lucky to have him. So,
do you think a lot of businesses would be like, well, I don't want to be a dick? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like,
no.
No. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you have to focus on your own house.
Yep.
Right.
So they were, and nothing against them. I'm not trying to talk bad on anybody, but
it
would be
great.
their responsibility to make sure that he was happy, or to make sure that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his situation was.
Because I was going to say, like, he looks happy at, like, each time I've seen my backyard, he looks happy. And I go to Il Mary's too. I used to go to Il Mary's a lot because I was working at Net Driven.
Mm-hmm.
So lunchtime, like, I'll leave to go to Il Mary's.
Yeah. It was your spot for
for
good
lunch.
food and
food and drinks.
Well, it's real simple for me as a business owner. I said, my job is to keep my employees happy. If my employees are happy, they're productive. They're doing a good job. As soon as they're unhappy, nobody leaves a job if they're happy making all the money they want to. Nobody.
Right.
So, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to quit, I want to leave, you have to look at yourself and say, where did I mess up?
right.
So in a situation like that, when he was ready to move on, it's because he wasn't being filled in some way by his current job.
Right.
So,
And if he's important to you, you want to do the things
You'll
he
find
or
a way to
she-
keep him.
He or she
Yeah.
that you want to, find a way to keep them and
Yeah.
fix the situation. That becomes, I don't know if enough people in small business or in business in general take that time to reflect that, like, if there's a problem,
mhm.
you want to automatically blame that person. Well, they just never give the respect.
Yeah, they're
You know,
ungrateful.
ungrateful. No,
Yeah.
I think everybody goes into a job or whatever job you're doing. Not like you don't wake up to it and say, like, I'm going to do a real shit job today. I just feel
Like, you know what?
I feel like just
I'm
fucking
gonna
awful
work
to-
for Micah, and I'm gonna suck.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and suck
And
and
get
just
fired.
I'm going to do as little as I can do and then ask him for a raise. Like, you just don't, like, you go in, you're like,
Yeah.
you may have shitty days, but you're not
Sure.
like, you don't wake up like not wanting to be good at your job. You generally, people go into a job saying, I want to at least do a good job.
Do you think what do you think about, right, like, so is there a, I wouldn't call it a crisis, but a employee problem in your industry right now?
Oh, it's very bad throughout the industry. But
And
we're,
can you explain that for people who don't quite understand?
yeah.
Where's it coming from? The shortage.
Well, I think anybody can make their speculations, and I'm no economist or anything like that, but I would say that people who are being well compensated to not work are, that's the most obvious answer. If people are being compensated more. So funny thing that you bring that up. I'm assuming you would have, because it is a hot buzz topic about.
My wife's in the industry, so
Right. I just saw a post today from, who was it? Twigs in, I follow a bunch of restaurants.
Tunkhannock.
Twigs and Tunkhannock. I
Yeah.
follow a bunch of restaurants in Facebook and social media, and they posted that we're going to be closed tonight, Thursday, this past Thursday, last night, or what's that? Friday?
Yeah.
Last night they had to close, citing that they didn't have enough labor to open the restaurant. But then I go down in the comments because you want to just see what the goose and gander have to say, and people are like, well, maybe if you were paying them a livable wage, is it
It's
how
always-
much is it? And it's like it's a position they're in right now to be able to say that restaurants need to pay more. Like, that's like the hot butts, which, not to get, again, I'm not, political or
Sure.
overly political or an economist or anything like that. But, I think the whole jacking of rates and getting people more money has more to do with increasing tax flow to the government. But,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if people are getting paid more, the government's getting more of it.
Right.
Right.
And the state and your local.
In your state, they all get more, those offices. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Although people do need to be compensated, but nobody should work in a job that they're like, if the best you're qualified to do is what you're making, then that's
The best you're qualified. That's what you're going to make.
yeah. Or you need to get motivated and to do more, and not raising that position. So it's a real sensitive topic, and I'm sure there's a million things surrounding that.
You can move on too, right? So if you are at a job that is not paying well, then you might want to look elsewhere. I mean, that's what everybody does, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, in a way, I totally hear you. Like, I think definitely, like, you're working somewhere, you should be compensated well, but you shouldn't also be a douche. Like,
I never expected him to go there. Never expected him to go there.
Explain that one.
nah, like,
Well,
I'll leave it at
it's for
that.
women.
Summer's Eve.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that's kind of like the problem that we have right now, and it's more so in this country, and everybody wants to eat their cake and still have it. They want lots of money, and most of them don't really want to do the job. And then at the end of the day, they're blaming the fact that, like, businesses like you are not paying them well. Like, really.
Yeah.
Well-
Now, listen, I'm all about, though, and I think that we have had a lot of long tenured employees throughout
Of
the years.
course.
And let me just say, in my experience, when I was at
One of my favorite, Taz,
Taz,
shout out.
shout out Taz.
He's not there no more.
He's not there.
He's selling weed.
He was there for a long time.
He's selling
yeah.
weed now.
Yeah.
He did.
He found a new career, I believe, and which is good.
Man,
yeah,
everybody's
every
gotta
time.
live their own life, man. You go do what you do as long as you're happy. Go.
But so we've had a lot of long tenured people, and I think we always want to take care of people. What I found from my years at Ronco, when I was in project management, I was an area manager there for a few years as well. I was running the area in charge of, a whole department, and then onto the ale house as an owner and manager of people, and even now in the catering role. My experience has always been that money is not the motivator. And I don't know if that's obvious, but like you say, give somebody a raise. I will tell you that my personal experience, not saying it's a true thing or not, but
It's
to
just
me,
your personal experience.
I'm convinced in my mind that it is, that when you give somebody more money, you almost see an immediate decrease in their
productivity.
Agreed.
That's my experience.
Yeah.
Here's more money. You're doing a great job. And then they start like, maybe, I don't know what the psychological is.
I think that makes them more like a commodity, right? So if something is a commodity, it's not truly valued. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna give me money. So the next time, yeah, you're gonna give me another money. So it means you could buy me. But if you're pouring more into, because I think I said that before here, that two things that people really like is they want to know that they matter. So that means you're treating them right. And they want to know that you love them. And if you could do all of that, right, you could retain them. So it's not necessarily the money, it's the culture, the things that you do in the company, hanging out with them, laughs, like little cookouts.
Enjoying your job.
Yeah, all of that is what leads to. So, and I'm sure probably like most of the guys that you had, the long tenured employees that you have, I mean, they're still there. And I mean, the pandemic happened. They didn't leave. They still stuck around. They never cried, hey, you got to give me more money. I'm not going to work. They stayed because of what you created, that culture that you created.
Yeah, by far and large. And I think you're spot on with all that. I think that job satisfaction, the money is the reward for doing a good job. And we all do that, but everybody wants to just go into work and try to enjoy what you do. And that's more important than anything. So small things, favors, or a gift of something that helps them in their job.
Appreciation.
And certainly, most importantly of all, is taking the second it takes to say thank you. I mean, really just letting them know that you noticed that they did something worthy of, that was above and beyond.
Letting them know that you believe that they're human, not just a cog in the machine.
Yep. So
it's huge.
Did you pay attention to who was like, yeah, I'll be there when you're in need, and who was like, yeah, I'm going to stay home?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure, because I heard a lot of people go like, there are the people who stayed here from the start and the people who wanted to stay home.
It didn't sit well with some people, but that again, like some people don't get it, like how that works. They can quickly forget, a raise or whatever.
Yeah.
But when, it's our time to, say, hey,
but we
need
jumped in
you.
the trenches with you.
Yeah. There's people who did. And God bless them. Like it was hard on us. And I think I even said like in that video, it was like equally hard on all of our employees and like the ones who stuck it out. And we prioritized those people when things got better. I mean, then they're like, well, wait a minute, I had this shift. And then, well, sorry, but so-and-so went through the mud with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're getting prioritized now. Like they've shown that they care about the place.
Is that where the fault lies? Where it's the ones who were like, but,
Yeah, you know what?
Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like there's people who are like, fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, when it comes time to, there's certain things in an employer-employee relationship that are outside of the normal agreed upon compensation job description. There's those things above and beyond. None of us, all four of us business owners, we don't have to go in and tell our people, hey, you did a good job. But it's really nice. It's really helpful. They don't have to pick up that little bit of extra trash and throw it in the can on their way past something. That's not their job. But it's all an ecosystem. It's all part of the culture. It's all part of those little extra things. It's not just about money. It's about ownership. It's about buy-in. And when you're invested in them on a personal level, they are invested in you on a personal level.
Yeah.
And so, when we were shut down, when Ale House was shut down, when all these businesses are shut down, everybody could go claim unemployment. It was basically like a paid vacation.
Yeah.
It wasn't for us as business owners, though. It was a nightmare. So those few people that were like, hey, whatever you need, I've got your back. That meant the world. Even though there was literally nothing they could do, that meant the world. Because we knew that they were there. We knew they were trying. In some way, they were trying. And then when the world returns to normal and there's a few, extra pieces of candy in the basket, it's going to the people that were there when we needed the help, even if it was just there emotionally.
I'm just concerned about like what. I'm not concerned. I'm just curious about what happens. Because the unemployment just stopped.
Yeah.
Like what Like all those people who are like, hey, I'm just wondering if the phone calls are going to start with like, hey, remember me?
Yeah. OnlyFans said I can't do porn, so I got to go back to the ale house.
Get in line.
Just so you know, OnlyFans reversed that. They are now allowing porn again.
Oh,
so
thank God.
I know. Good for them. Good for them. Entrepreneurs.
I don't have to go back to my real job.
I don't want to.
But there's a lot of people that are thinking, a lot of people made them a lot of money just staying home.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I always say though,
And I don't know how they get out of that, and because it's going to be a real big shock to them after 18 months. They got to go back to work.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily blame the people. I want to say blame them for that. You know, you want to say that you can be more productive, but I guess
You can't blame the 8-year-old for eating too much Halloween candy.
That's it. You know, I blame the system
You blame the asshole parents
who leave the candy
who
out.
gave them the candy.
Right. And that's kind of where my mind is at. Like, you know, a lot of people are all in different positions. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I don't fault those people for taking advantage of that, because if the program is there for them to take advantage of it, then that program needs to be fixed if it's being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Simply put, I guess.
I guess why I have the dilemma in my head, it's like no one that was receiving that went, wait, what happens when this ends? Like,
Well, no, nobody cared.
They didn't care.
No, I mean, I think they're going to face reality soon. Like a lot of them are.
Some of them won't
And-
have jobs to go back to.
Yeah. And I guess they would have to get in line. Like
So-
with everybody else.
So,
Yeah.
and so get
so it's
this.
almost getting back. It's almost going back.
Yeah.
Prior.
We have had some great people come through our doors, and they're not there either because they've moved on, or they've gone to, you know, maybe they were in school and they've gone to their career, or, you know, maybe we just parted ways because things weren't good at the time. We still always had great people through our doors. Very few people that I would like reflect back on and be like, that person was terrible. There's a handful of them, because there are people like that, but very few people who are in and out of our doors. And I think that a lot of the people who even work for us will still see as customers and still stop by. And whether or not we left on, you know, we had to part ways on worse terms, but we still had a lot of love for our people. Like, and that was reflective. And again, I think the culture that we've had over the years. But that being said, and not a knock to those people who have moved on or who have been here, but I think we have right now one of the best teams, not necessarily like the best employees. Like, some of them still have a lot of learning to do and learning our ways. And they're not like, you know, maybe they're slower at the bar. Like, they're not like, you know,
You don't have great individuals. You have a great team.
the team is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
They are positive, hardworking people and look out for each other. And
It's huge.
So as a team, it's as strong as it's ever been. And I would take that over, you know, LeBron James any day. You know, I'd take the, you know,
I want the team that wins, not
I want the
not
team
the
that
superstar
wins.
standout that doesn't
So-
win.
yeah.
yeah.
Do you
You
think
don't want the super group.
Not that you don't. I mean, it'd be great if they could be the super group, but it just, I don't know. Like they get the too big to fail mentality, or they become too important for you, you know, to manage. And
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. They do like probably 90% of it. That 10% they're just always fighting you on. Whereas this team, like, do this, done, do that. You know, like
They're willing to work.
everybody's
Yeah.
willing to do
Yeah.
whatever it takes, you know? So it's not a lack of it. That to me is more valuable than all the knowledge in the world, is somebody who's willing. That's,
Yeah.
you know, that as
Yeah.
an employee, that's what I'd seek more than anything, willing to just do whatever it takes.
No, I was gonna say, do you think the pandemic kind of like helped in that
Yeah.
to kind of like, you know?
Oh, so there is
separate-
positives to this.
What?
Oh, so there is positives.
So
to
there's
this.
a positive.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then that's what I was getting to in terms of the people. And now there are going to be people out there who maybe drug their feet, not necessarily just from alehouse, but just across wherever. And generally speaking, I would think most businesses have a team now that are people who are willing, right?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I just said, that's more important than anything. So if you have a team that's willing, and that's what most people have right now, because if you're working for us, it's because you're willing to, in spite of the fact that there's free money sitting there. Or maybe they didn't have access to it, but you know, in spite of that, those people are willing. And so the people who are coming back, I don't know if, you know, take a seat. When I need you, I'll give you a call, you know, and that's how most businesses are going to be. And some people are desperate, like Twigs or like all these restaurants who have not been able to find the people.
And the sad part is they have to maybe take the subpar person just out of desperation, just to keep the doors open.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And what's the
With enough training,
what's the net benefit of that?
but with enough training, a subpar person could be pretty good.
True.
And then when it's time for
Absolutely.
that other person that wasn't subpar with all the experience in the world to come back, here's what people are forgetting right now is bad times don't last, but neither do good times.
Right.
Mhm.
So right now, all those people sitting at home collecting all that money, it's like, ooh, this is awesome. I'm getting my extra $300 a week. I'm sitting at home, hanging out with the kids, doing X, Y, Z. Life is gravy. Okay. But in 2 or 3 weeks, when you went from making, $800 to $1,000 a week on unemployment to $220, and you can't get a job because everybody's pissed off because you screwed them over for a year and a half, good luck.
Yeah, because there's no obligation to hire.
No. And these businesses have learned how to function lean.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they now going to go and triple their payroll costs to go back to doing with 20% more business than they're doing right now?
And that's the other positive. You just mentioned the other positive is that we have learned to be lean. Like the menu has gone through iteration.
By the way, the menu is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's great right now.
Yeah, it's great right now.
It's simple. It's low down, but that was the other thing. We got into the
dull.
barbecue. We're doing
it's not dull.
Mm-hmm.
It's we were there, 2-3 weeks ago?
I remember.
It was great.
Yeah.
I remember what I ate last night.
It was I don't know.
Is your smoker all year? Or is the smoker all year?
It is now.
Okay.
That
was a brilliant addition.
We bought that.
Because we did argue, right? That day I was like, I don't think it's over. Like, I don't think the way
I was like, man,
yeah,
smoker's good. It's there. Trust me.
Yeah,
and then it was great.
It's awesome.
I'm going to give credit again to my brother. He had that vision for that smoker. He'd, done some traveling and been, with some of the forestry work. And he's like, man, I could see smoke. Like, this area needs a good barbecue.
Hell yeah.
So
we went.
Yeah, because you have to travel all the way. I don't think they exist anymore. They went out of business, right? Is it Condolas?
Condolas, yeah.
Yeah, you had to travel all the way.
Really good barbecue around here is pretty scarce.
B3Q is good.
B3Q is good.
Where's B3Q?
Pittston, West Pittston,
yeah.
right
West
over the
Pittston.
bridge.
Oh,
It's
It's
veteran
good.
owned. It's pretty good.
It's good.
We ate like heavy girls
But,
that
man,
day. It was great.
I'm telling you, man. You go on a road trip with me down to Tennessee.
They know what they're doing there.
Oh,
I went.
That's a lifestyle.
I went to one. I went
let's
to
go.
one in Texas, in Dallas.
Texas
and,
is
really.
another
I
world.
forgot the name, but the line literally is like 3 blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have to get there at a certain
because it's
time,
worth it.
otherwise
It's a
you're not-
religion.
Yeah.
It's an absolute religion.
Was there a hard transition going into Epicurean for you? Was there a learning curve, or was it just like?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like I said, a business that was running for 40 years that now I had to, learn all the ins and outs of what their knowledge that they've absorbed over 40 years. The beautiful thing is that, again, like we managed to retain pretty much all the employees who are the base of that knowledge. And they're some of them are old. I don't want to say old. They're up there in age, but they're
been around 40
love
years.
it. Yeah.
Well, we were up. I mean, you guys catered to the Marley's event over the summer, right?
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
They catered our grand opening.
Yeah.
I think we were one of the first events you guys did.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, the one back in June?
No, the one March.
What was in
April.
June?
I don't know.
Oh man, everything's just a blur.
Yeah, I don't remember. We didn't do anything big.
So
in June.
what's this? How much staff do you have at Epicurean?
We have like
And it's you and who else? Or
my partner is Michelle Cadden. And
okay,
then we have a silent partner, investor.
that just doesn't.
Okay, fine. It's me.
That just doesn't.
I'm
speak.
also involved. I'm not. It's not me at all. You don't want me involved in that.
I was
What was that?
I was like silent partner because I always think they have like duct tape on their mouth.
He is silent. No, he's very much involved, and very interested in it. And, he's passionate about it with us, but he's, he loves to just check in. What's going on today?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool that a lot of it was investing in me as a friend. He knew the year I had and things were tough. And so my thought process getting into it was that, I could take a lot of relief off of the backyard because I needed to pull certain amount of
Financial
money
relief.
financially just to,
Yeah.
and it was all like, just covering whatever baseline. There was no excess in my life at that point. Whatever I needed to do to care for my kids and keep a roof over our head and, the bills on, the water on, all that. So that's where the backyard was. And I was like, this is not, this won't fix itself for a while. And I can help the backyard by not draining that.
You can
with this
alleviate some of that.
with
Yeah, the
this
overhead.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And so it was just a good jumping point. I think, again, speaking on that February conversation with my brother, is that was not just that the financial was coming closer to where we needed it to be, but I think in essence too, it was the business is where it needs to be. It's things are running smoothly.
Yeah.
You know, other than
Good systems.
other than the year, but you know, the systems are in place. So I was primed to like, you know, take this jump to the next level and create more opportunity. So
Do you, I'm sorry, you're going to say something?
No, I was just going to ask, like, how is your time split? You know, I mean, you obviously have 2 businesses that you're in ownership on.
yeah.
You know, how do you split your time? Are you really daily operations of Epicurean, and then Ale House is more, you're kind of in an oversight role now? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, with Billy and Tony, they're still full time, and again, things rolling the way it does. I'm essentially not involved at Backyard on any day-to-day basis.
Okay.
That the goal is that will change, but I had, you know,
Do you still get to do the tastings when there's a new menu and new beers?
at the bar.
Yeah.
No,
You don't get to do the tastings?
I've honestly in the 8
That would be my favorite part of owning that business, would be like, okay, it's
Wait,
Monday,
That is my job.
new menu items.
well, Epicurean is a whole new.
True.
Shoot, like-
Do you ever need volunteers to try new menu
Yeah,
items?
I joked to everybody.
There are
like,
three
I am like
three honest men right here
Yeah.
that will happily come down and tell you.
We all know Aja will tell you if he thinks it's terrible. He told you how terrible he thought Ale House was for the first couple of years.
Oh no, I can say with extreme confidence that our food is fantastic. You would love every morsel of it.
Epicurean.
There's not a bad, there's not.
Oh,
a
it's
bad
wonderful.
bite.
Oh, it's fantastic.
They really know what they're doing with
Yeah.
with food there, and it's
And you transport it so well.
yeah.
Like, I mean, so when we had our grand opening, you guys did the food. You know, and it's difficult when you cook food in a facility that's what, 30, 35 miles away?
No, it's a 20-minute drive. I don't know how.
Okay.
Far. It's 15,
Tunkhannock?
18 miles. We're
Okay.
in Falls.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
close.
But I mean,
Probably
just
like,
to
right by
transport
St.
it.
Michael's.
probably like 18.
Right
Yeah,
next to it,
I mean,
yeah.
I can't get a burger and fries from downtown to my house 2 minutes away and it not be a soggy mess. So the fact that you guys had it here displayed so beautifully, so crisp, so like temperature appropriate, you guys do a great job. Like,
That's awesome.
really
I
do a
appreciate
great
it.
job.
And
Yeah.
and that's the systems they put in place. And I learned a lot from, we were doing more and more catering with the Backyard too,
Yeah.
leading up to the pandemic lows, which we've backed off our catering a little bit because it just takes more resources than we
Sure.
have available to us.
Yeah.
So it's a goal that we're going to ramp back up again at some point with the Backyard catering. But we've kind of let that, you know, I don't say go to the wayside, but it's just not been our priority. We have to get our house clean with what we have. But yeah, when I got to Epicurean and saw how they were doing things, like we nailed a lot of it, being very inexperienced with the Backyard, but we're bulky and cumbersome in the way we transport and the way we handle, like, you know, food prep and the things that we need or don't need. Like Epicurean's very efficient. I mean, we pack the truck. I mean, even for a small party like yours, how much space in one of those big box trucks can get chewed up from the display items and the garnishes. And when they do food, and I never thought about it, you go like, how do we get it there? How do we prepare it? How do we get it hot?
Right.
But the food is prepped, but they'll, like, you know, separate ingredients in a pan and don't combine them till they get there, because something can get soggy, or because the acidity from this vegetable will penetrate that one in a way that will take the, you know, flavor of that away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's very well thought out the way they do it,
Science.
the way that we do it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we definitely
Food
deliver a premium
gastronomy.
product. Yeah, it's just
Oh, is that what it's called?
I don't know, Pat.
Sounds
Probably.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I think
Sounds
so.
like something going on in my stomach right now.
Do you? I mean, are you? Did you find after the last year and a half? Is there like a little bit of like a glimmer of like joy now that you're at Epicurean? Because you were talking before about like there was like the first 4 years was just it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you back? Did you find a little bit of fun? And it's not to say that you're neglecting your other baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, you know, that baby is doing its own thing right now, and it's almost like you put the Eskimo on the piece of ice, and you're like, good luck.
Yeah, a little
Well,
bit.
I'll check in on when I can,
I
but
mean,
I'm on to a new thing.
I love the Backyard. I love the people there. I've missed it a lot, but it's different now, and I wouldn't call this past year fun. It's exciting, but like I've been working
Like base jumping out of
like-
parachute.
Yeah, I've been working
Yeah.
like stupid hard though, trying to transition to this new business. I don't want this to fail. Like,
Right.
I don't want to let down the owners who had worked 40 years to build it, or the employees who, you know,
Count on it.
Yeah, who count
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And so crazy, stupid hours to kind of keep up with the volume of business. And we picked a good time, I guess, in terms of this. So we're enjoying a lot of success this year, knock on wood. We're learning a lot of things, but, you know, I don't know. It's been a hard year. I need a minute to reflect on it. You know, like it's it's been go mode, and I'm tired right now. I'm really tired. I can't wait. Like our slow season starts in about a month and a half, and I'm really looking forward to throttling back a little bit
for both businesses, or
yeah, well, really for both businesses. I mean, the backyard gets definitely our busy seasons are summer. I know some bars are like Jack's Draft House or 16th Ward do better in the winter, just those cozy atmosphere that they have. Whereas we have like that outdoor space, so it's better for us in the summer. So,
what? I mean, now that you're into a new endeavor, but it's already has a track record of success. How do you foresee the future? In other words, like, spoiler alerts. Is there anything going on at Epicurean that maybe in the future could be outside the scope of what is normal for that business?
Yes.
Oh, do you want to tell us off podcast? Off podcast?
It's off podcast.
Okay.
Podcast?
Yeah.
We've got ideas. I mean,
Epicurean
again,
strip club.
the entrepreneurial spirit is alive. But like I said, I want to take a breath. I want to reflect on what we've done, and I want to make sure that we don't let this thing fail or not, and I'm, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we've knocked it out of the park. We've had some customers that have been customers of Epicurean for many years, many, and the feedback we're getting from them is extremely positive, and it's as good as it's ever been. And your staff were fantastic, and so the response is like we're the people who are skeptic. I think the one lady who called me this past week, she had been a customer of Epicurean for like over 20 years, and she had told me multiple times, and she's a particular customer, and she was straight with me and said, I'm kind of apprehensive. I'm a little nervous that
You're not going to live up to the...
Yeah, like she's like, you got some big shoes to fill,
Wow.
because they always delivered such a fantastic product to us. And so she called me like 2 weeks after the party. And she just said, I wish I got to you sooner. I meant to send you a note, but I wanted you to know, like, your team was fantastic. The food, everything you guys did, you brought to it was as good as it always was. It was, you guys are carrying on the legacy. You're doing a great job. Congratulations. And we appreciate it.
I don't want to spoil it.
But that felt good,
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but like, do you guys do catering as small as like a Christmas dinner for 20?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm going to never have to cook Christmas dinner again.
Really?
Well, we fill up fast. We do. We've done 12, 14 person parties. We do.
And is it just like it comes
drop-offs.
in like a big whatever that you pop in the oven for a certain amount of time, or does it?
We call it hot drop, where we will come and
So
set
somebody
up
will
the
deliver
buffet
on Christmas Day.
And we can deliver it hot and set up. And then we have what we call a cold drop, which is ready to reheat. It's all packaged and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But you're still getting platters that are like, it's a distinct thing. You're not just getting food from us. You're still getting presentation, even when we're just delivering.
God, that's awesome.
There's beautiful flowers and stuff.
I'm doing
like
that for Christmas.
Yeah, that's the only catch is that we're.
Did you want to surprise your family, or did you want to?
Do you think my family are listening to this? They don't listen to me in person at home.
I just wanted to say, and I hope you guys agree, the world is a better place with people like you in it.
Yes.
So
What?
I'm so happy that you didn't take a bridge.
I was there.
I'm so happy.
Buddy,
No,
I remember
really
those
wasn't.
conversations.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's some hard, depressing times.
Yeah.
But again, I try to I think your experiences in life are meant to make you stronger.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
they're good or bad.
Yeah.
And you got to take out of each of those things whatever. You get what you put into it. And
That's
so
the Jesuit education.
that's it.
That's the go Wolves.
No,
Wolves.
Royals.
Wolf
No,
pack.
that-
Royals.
That's
Well, that's right. It is the Royals. It's not the
That's-
Wolf Pack.
Who the fuck was telling me it was a wolf?
I think the mascot is a wolf, but it's the Royals.
It is.
It
but
makes
it's
zero
the
sense now.
Royals.
I'm not going to credit the university. That's a Nana Donna Nasser,
Oh, totally.
my mom, and
Yeah.
my mom well.
I love
Yeah,
your
your
mom.
mom's awesome.
She's good people.
She's
so
badass.
she did okay with the 5 kids, but
You gotta go see your family and stuff. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate you coming in and talking to us. I hope you don't feel as bad now as you did when you walked in.
no, I do. I've had some
Take
time.
your kids some desserts.
That's the only problem. I had to stare at those delicious desserts.
Take them, dude.
Take
Eat
your
'em.
kids.
No, I
Eat 'em.
appreciate it.
I have to go. I have
it
to go to a
is.
party.
It is.
Yeah, you do.
cool.
I have to go to a party. My wife met some people, and now we're going to a party with a bunch of people I don't know at all.
It's gonna be
Wait.
great.
She randomly met some people,
So it's
and
a-
then you guys got
it's like a
invited.
viewers.
It's a new couple that moved into town and came into Lavish. Met my wife. Was like, we're having this party. Get to kind of a get to know you of all of our new friends. They moved here 3 months ago, So I am the only person going to this party that knows nobody.
Call me if you need help.
That's
going to
be a blast. That's
it's
going to
be the best.
Yeah.
We're here 2 hours.
I know.
Oh,
How
yeah.
long are these? Are these usually 2 hours?
2 to 3.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How long did it seem?
Not that long.
Isn't it
Yeah.
weird?
I just looked at my clock.
Oh, there
I
are
was like,
times
oh
when
my
we'll be
God,
here
it's 5 o'clock.
from 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
we were here once for almost 4 hours
Yeah.
because we're just
Well,
hanging out talking.
Apparently,
sometimes
I'm
we're
only
drinking.
2 hours interesting.
No.
Are you kidding me? I thought you
No, I'm
just
kidding.
started getting
No, I'm
interesting.
kidding. I'm
So,
kidding.
Backyard Ale House, Epicurean Delight, Pat Nasser, part of the Nasser royalty.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Lebanese
say thank
royalty.
you. Lebanese Irish royalty. I
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you for coming. And what a week, man.
Yeah,
What a week
what a
for
week.
us.
Inviting
What a
me.
week, man.
Appreciate it.